Yeah, it was good to get back home and get a win against an improving UTEP team. I was proud of the way we started fast and continued to build the lead throughout the game. We've had far too many games where we've came out fast and built a lead to where we've let them get back in the game. And so I was proud of the team, the effort, the focus throughout 4 quarters in order to continue to build that lead and get the win. When you score 52 points and your defense holds an offense under 300 yards, you're able to build some confidence, through all your phases. I thought all 3 phases stepped up at some point, but we understand there's still a lot of things that we have to clean up, and we're going to have to play even better against a very talented Louisiana Tech team. So statistically, it's the game features the 2 top offenses in Conference USA. In order to continue to do what we've been doing offensively, we got to have a great week. Their defense is extremely explosive. They're very stingy, and they play very well together. And offensively, how explosive they can be. So it'll be a great challenge this week, and we're going to have an unbelievable week of preparation in order to go on the road and have success. We know there's a lot to play for in this game. The last 2 games have been decided by a total of 4 points. They snapped a 4-game winning streak for us at home this past season. They're sitting atop of the standings in Conference USA, and I think they've won 7 straight. So if you can't get motivated and locked in to play this game, probably shouldn't be playing. That'll open it up.
How are you guys health-wise going into this week?
As healthy as we're going to be, Brett. It's not good right now. We got a lot of guys that are banged up and some guys that are out. But again, you really got to focus on this time of the year of taking care of your bodies, trying to do the things necessary in order to give yourself a chance to get back out on the field. Without going into detail, we'll have some guys out. But again, as a team, you got to step up and find any which way necessary in order to try to win a football game.
DeAndre Torrey missed the last game in a boot. Is there anything you know about him or his status?
As of now, he's still doubtful. We'll continue to go through this week and see how he continues to heal. I know he's working extremely hard along with our trainers and doctors, and he's doing everything he can. But at the same time, sometimes those injuries are nagging, and we just got to keep putting in the work.
What about KD? Is he going to be a little bit healthier this week?
I hope so. Again, same deal. We're trying to get all our guys back healthy and out on the field. At times, again, it depends on the type of injury, the recovery process. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a trainer. They have to, figure out when it's what they can do to get those guys back ready and healthy. And so I would say he's probably still the same status today as he was this past week. But, again, I always pray hard for my guys. Hopefully they get healed up and ready to go this weekend.
With an off week next week, are you going to be limiting any of the minutes for some of those guys that are more banged up?
We can't focus in on that right now. You go play a team on the road like Louisiana Tech, it's all hands on deck. So whatever we have to do in order to win a football game is what we're focused on. When you have your back up against the wall, you don't have room for, resting or whatever the case may be. We got to make sure that we do everything possible to have success.
It's been a heck of a grind since your guys' last bye. I mean, I think this is going to be your 5th straight game this week. Is that grind kind of worn your guys down a little bit, or how's your guys' attitudes?
Attitude's good. They understand. I mean, this is the time of the year to where, statistically, about Game 9 is probably your after Game 9, your peak's probably in your muscle and your bodies. This is probably the peak of it, and this is where you really got to focus in on your nutrition and making sure extra treatments, making sure you're getting your rest. This is the time of the year. And again, we got to make sure that as coaches, it's our job to put them in situations to be successful, maybe taking some strain off their bodies as well. But as players, you got to make sure you're doing your part as well and performing. And it's your job to go out there and make sure that your body's where it needs to be in order to perform at a high level. And so it's a two-way street. But again, everybody's going through the same grind. It's just a matter of some years you're healthier than others. But it's a grind for every college football team in the country. It's a matter of just being able to fight through it and overcome it as a team. And those are the teams that are usually going to have success, make bowl games, make championship runs. That's why the month of November kind of decides a lot of things in college football.
Lastly, Taylor and Mikhail, any updates on their?
Same. I wish I could give you more info, I don't kind of see where they're at as the week goes on. Again, got some guys out right now, but other guys are stepping in and they're preparing the right way, and hopefully we can get some of those guys, if not fully back healthy, hopefully even for some depth. If game time decision, if they're ready in order to give us some depth and give us some minutes, we'll find out.
Coach Mason's post-game appearance almost got as much talk as the 7 touchdowns. At what point did you know that he was going to do that?
I knew kind of going into it. I was proud of him. I didn't know if he would do it or not. I kind of egged him on a little bit probably, pregame. So I was glad he did that. You got to have fun. And, college football is a year-round job almost anymore for coaches and players. And like you talk about the grind. And if you forget if you forget to enjoy it, if you forget to get some laughs, and it can be even more grinding. And so, kind of showed his personality, and he likes to have fun, and he's really locked in and focused, and you understand how serious he takes this game. But at the same time, you don't always get to see who he is off the field, and I was glad to see him do it actually.
Safe to say he wouldn't have done it after a loss?
Safe to say he probably wouldn't have.
You touched on Tech's stingy defense earlier. Can you go into a little more depth on how they're able to be so stout?
Well, I think, one, they're very talented across the board. You always try to find week in and week out kind of what's their weakness, what position group maybe. They're extremely talented. It starts back in the secondary. I think in the secondary they're extremely talented. Amik Robertson, I think he's one of my favorite guys in the league. You talk about a guy that loves to play ball. He's very competitive. He's not going to be that guy that's going to have the measurables, kind of like offense with Mason. But he's so talented, and he makes plays. But again, their whole secondary does. Up front, they're always going to have twitchy D linemen that are big and physical, and you got to have a plan for some of that rush control. And they're playing at a high level with their linebackers as well, and their nickels. So it's just a very talented defense. They haven't given up much, and so we know we're going to have to be on point this week in order to have success. That's for sure.
Jamar seems to be playing his best ball towards the end of his career. What is it that you've seen in him this year?
Well, he's extremely talented. You look at he can make all the throws. His arm strength. I think he's extremely comfortable now, being in the system now for a while. Between him and Skip, having that relationship and playing a lot of ball together, I think his confidence is at a high level, and then he has playmakers all around him. I think they're always going to have great receivers and skill positions, and their running backs are averaging. I think one of them's averaging 7 yards a carry maybe. So. He has a lot of weapons around him, and it's not just in the pass game. I think they're balanced in a sense to where they're going to take what you give them, and they're able to do both well. And so they're protecting him well up front, letting him stand back and get comfortable as well. And so they've been explosive. There's a reason statistically they're the top offense in the conference, and it'll be a great challenge. But again, I tell our guys we love great challenges, and let's go out there and have the best week of preparation we can. Let's make sure we're locked in on a game plan and focus in on what we can control, and that's playing our very best in all 3 phases.
Given that Louisiana Tech has been scoring 36 points a game and UNT has been allowing 32, how important do you think defensive strategy is going to be in this game, and how much adjustment do you think you have to do this week in order to do well?
Well, we're going to have to make some adjustments. That's too good of an offense. Everybody who plays them are going to have to make adjustments and find different ways, not only going into the game, having a great game plan that your guys can execute with confidence, playing fast. I think that's important, but also the communication and the sideline adjustments throughout the game will be key. Again, they're going to make their plays. There's no doubt. they're too talented, and so you got to really stay focused, stay positive, making sure that you got to do a great job overcoming that adversity. And again, it's not just the defense. We're one heartbeat, one team. We got to help them overcome it offensively as well. And whenever we have success, it's because of all three phases and the positivity and the energy on the sideline, building each other up, and. That's going to be a major key this week, especially going on the road where you can't feed off your home crowd. You can't feed off the extra players on the sideline that have a lot of energy that can kind of get everything going. And so that's why it's challenging to play on the road. But again, we look forward to a great opportunity against the top team in this league, and let's go out there and compete and battle and see where the chips fall.
These games always tend to be pivotal between North Texas and Louisiana Tech, at least lately. Last year was one of those games. What do you guys remember about that game, and does that kind of motivate you going forward, considering the way that game ended?
Well, it was a hard-fought battle. I mean, we had a pretty good home winning streak there. I don't know how many games it was, but we hadn't lost at home, and so they came in. They played an unbelievable football game. It was back and forth. Throughout the game, we got an opportunity there at the end to kick a game-winning field goal, and Shooter Meat came off the edge and blocked it. So, again, it just shows you how important that taking care of the football in a game like this, making sure that you win that turnover battle, and understanding there's going to be highs and lows. You just have to continue to fight and overcome them, and give yourself a chance to win there in the fourth quarter. We had an opportunity. We just we didn't get the job done, and they did. And so anytime that, there's always motivation for that, and understanding that it's always going to be a great battle against them. And, again, they're a really good team. Skip does a great job. Their coaches, they're well coached. They got players across the board. And so we know it's one of the more challenging games in our league year in and year out, and we're going to have to play at a high level in order to be able to have that success we want.
How is the defense preparing to counter Tech's dangerous running game?
Who's?
Louisiana Tech's running game.
You want me to give you the game plan here? There's going to be challenges again because they can spread you out and force you to get light boxes in order to take away some of that explosive pass game they have. And so once you start getting spread out and you're losing hats in the run game, they'll start popping them on you. And so I think the biggest thing is just making sure that you're disciplined with your alignments, understanding to fit, making sure you fit the right gaps. And then also, again, just because he doesn't a ton doesn't mean he won't get out and run a little bit too. They'll use that quarterback for an extra hat. And so you're going to have to be disciplined on who's got the quarterback, who's got the running back, your fits, your assignments, and your alignments. And we talk about that a lot throughout every week, making sure you're staying on top of routes, making sure your eyes are, if they're supposed to be on that receiver, don't get them in the backfield on some of that play action stuff. And so there's a lot of things that we've had to continue to grow and clean up throughout the season. And I think, again, it comes down to making sure that our guys are comfortable going into the game, understanding their job throughout the week, and then being able to go out there and just react, being able to go just play fast. Play on greens, what we call it, just being able to go out there and attack. And you start playing on yellow and red, it's fixing to be a long day, especially against this group. So I think the confidence going down, understanding the game plan, what we got in, how we're going to attack them, and then go out and trust your technique. Trust the guy to your left and right. Trust your coaches. Coaches got to trust their players to go out and make plays and go get after it.
Deontay Simpson had his first touchdown receptions. Just what have you seen from him, and what has made him stand out just in his first year?
He's continued to grow. He's those young guys. Anytime you're in a new system, we make adjustments throughout each and every week in order to hopefully give us success. You're having to tweak things, and so. It's not always easy for those young guys, whether it's converting on some routes or some splits or whatever it is. Being able to understand what your alignment, your assignment is, and execute it when the bullets are flying. It's not easy. At times early on, with some of our young guys, it was challenging because, let's face it, there's going to be some mistakes. And so whenever those mistakes happen, a lot of times it's caught with those outside guys. Your quarterback's caught with the ball in his hand, trying to find a throw or having to squeeze it. And so sometimes we're going to take shots. So just building that chemistry, I think he's worked extremely hard. He's really smart. He's never had an issue learning the system. I think he's probably one of the smarter guys in that room. It's just a matter of the reps, and the more reps you get, start having success, you're going to get that confidence. I really like where he's at. He's a very talented young man. I think he has a huge future ahead of him. You just got to continue to grow. But it was awesome to see him make a couple of touchdown catches there this past week, and I just think that's going to continue to build his confidence and make him even better this upcoming week.
Deion Hare-Griffin's made a big impact for you guys in terms of returning kicks. What went into the decision to put him back there, and how has he responded?
Well, him and DeAndre have kind of been our return guys, and both of them have had they've been explosive. Deion returned, I think, the opening kickoff of the year for an explosive play. He's doing a good job of hitting it. I think you got to give a lot of credit to the guys in front of him who are on the right assignment, and those aren't easy blocks. Whenever you got big guys running down at you full speed, and you're kind of sitting back on your heels trying to take on a block or trying to block a guy that's trying to run through you, it's not easy. And so, one, you got to give those guys a lot of credit for being, selfless and physical. But two, that return guy has the same feeling. And so he's really got to trust his teammates. He's got to hit it up in there. But the thing with Deion, DeAndre, both those guys, once they get out in the open field, they're very explosive. They can both run. They're great in open space, and all they needs a little crease. And so I think it starts with the preparation. Coach Biaggi throughout the week. That's something that we work on special teams a lot, and I think that's going to be key this week. Anytime you're on the road, you better bring your special teams A game, and you better play great on defense because that's how you win on the road. And so we want to continue to be successful in our special teams and make it a weapon, and hopefully give us an advantage throughout the season.
Are games in November any more challenging than, say, September and October, just because of the grind?
It depends in a way. A lot goes into November in the sense of kind of how it's built up. Where are you at, injury related? How much success have you had up until then? There's going to be the grind of, the highs and lows. Just trying to keep it balanced. But if you're on a roll and you've kind of got on a run and you've had a lot of confidence leading to November, it's a different kind of grind in the sense of we've gotten this far, now let us not take a breath. Let's keep the foot on the gas. It's a little different in the position we are. We know our back's against the wall, and we haven't had some of the results we would have liked, but it's just a different mentality. But it's a grind is a grind, right? It's a long season. There's a lot that's gone on up to this point for a lot of teams. How fresh are you? How much depth do you have? How many injuries you have play into it? And but ultimately, all those things are just an excuse. You got to find out how to give yourself a chance to win games and go perform and do it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.